Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and today is day 19 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on doing at least 2 things I don't want to do every day just because I know it's good for me. So yay for day 19 and yay for only 81 days left to go. I'm gonna be insane by the time 81 days are up. I already feel insane. I'm just gonna say that. I feel like I've unleashed something in my brain, in my body. I don't know what it is, but it won't stop. It won't stop. I have like this constant flow of ideas in my brain. And I think I've always had this constant flow of ideas in my brain, but I've also always had this constant voice that said, I don't have time to do that. I can't do that. That's not going to work out. That's just a fantasy. It's not reality. It's just for fun. Or I'm too tired. I don't have the energy. I always have some excuse. But there's this switch that seems to be flipped where it's like, okay, excuses off because we have to do things we don't want to do, which means all these ideas that are popping in my head become very realistic possibilities. And now I have to do everything. And I don't want to do everything. And my brain has suddenly decided that there is no limit to what I can do and that I can get everything done. Because I've met my goal the last 2 nights of getting everything done and going to bed at a certain time. In fact, going to bed earlier. So I'm like, I was going to be in bed at 8 o'clock on Monday night, and I was in bed at 7:45 or 7:35 actually. So I was like, yes, I was going to be in bed at 9 o'clock last night, and I was in bed at 8:44, and I was like, yes. Not that I slept either one of those nights, and not that I actually went to sleep at the time that I went to bed, but I was in bed by then. And tonight I was going to be in bed at 10 o'clock, and that is so not happening because it's already after 9:30, and I just got home from my writing group, and I still have to make my video, which I'm doing, and I still have to write in my journal, and I still have to brush my teeth. So it's going to be at least 11 o'clock before I go to bed tonight, which is very disappointing to me. But at the same time, my brain is like, yes, but look at all the things we accomplished today. Plus, my brain does not understand the concept of time because I looked at the clock and I was like, okay, I didn't do my dishes today. I do not have time to do my dishes today. I'm okay with not doing my dishes today. And it's 6:35. I have to leave at 6:45 to be to my meeting at 7 o'clock. And it's going to take me 15 to 20 minutes to do the dishes because it always does. And I completely forgot that I had to fix my hair and and get all of my stuff together, like grab my laptop and my water bottle and my shoes and all of those things and get to my car. So none of that time was included in how long it was going to take me. And I'm like, I can do dishes for 10 minutes. And then I go to do dishes for only 10 minutes. So I'm just going to do a small amount. But look how close I am to finishing this section and clearing off this part of my counter. And I can just do this. But then I have to wash all the dishes that I dirtied yesterday and today so that I don't have any so it's just all the really old stuff that I haven't washed, but all the new stuff is like I'm staying on top of, and then I'm just slowly doing the older stuff. So I'm not getting further behind, but I'm not rotating dishes. I'm still just using the same ones I'm washing over and over again and using over and over again, and then slowly cleaning a handful more of the ones that have been on my counter for months and or years. We're not going to discuss how long it's been there. Seriously. So then, of course, I think that I'm almost done with my dishes, and I turn around and there's my frying pan full of grease from when I made hamburger for dinner last night. And of course, I can't leave it alone because my brain is like, but we're so close and we have to finish this. And I'm like, but we don't have to finish this. But the part of my brain that thinks I have to do things or that I can do everything that pops into my head has now taken over today. And it's driving me insane because every time I sit down to do something, like I sat down to watch a conference talk and I'm trying to watch a conference talk and my brain is going, ooh, I should send a message to my friend in Texas, to my Texas friend who's supposed to be doing the book cover for my book, and I should ask her if she can do the book cover. Ooh, but what if I send her an email? Ooh, and I can send her my book and say, hey, I'm going to try to get this published this year, so hey, can you glance over it and tell me what you think? Because, hey, wouldn't this be cool? And I was like, I'm trying to watch this talk. I just turn off for like 10 seconds or 10 minutes. Like, it's just 10 minutes. And then it's like, oh, I should call my son. And I'm like, okay, but can it wait until I'm done with the talk? Because seriously, it's just 10 minutes. Don't ask me what was in that talk, because I don't think my brain stopped the entire time with, ooh, something else to do. Ooh, something else to do. I'm just like, ah. So you get my crazy brain tonight with all the things I did not want to do and ended up doing. So on top of all of that, I had my writing group tonight, and I have not been working on my book. So not that I don't want to, I just decided that, I decided earlier this week that it takes up too much of my time if I'm going to go to bed and actually get sleep at night, which I need to do. So Fridays and Saturdays are the best times for me to write. So I need to get myself to be more productive on Fridays and Saturdays, and I can spend, a couple of hours on both days working on my writing on my book, and I can get several chapters done that way. And then I will feel like I'm making progress, and that's fantastic. I can do that. So my brain has decided I'm doing that instead. But I haven't shared anything in my group for a while, and I wrote the song probably before Christmas. If I'm honest, I think it was before Christmas, somewhere between Thanksgiving and Christmas time. I wrote a song, and I wrote it down on a piece of paper, and I thought about taking it to my writing group in January last month, and I picked it up off my table and I put it back down on my table, and I said, nope, I'm not doing this. So tonight I'm like, well, the only thing I have that I can do is my song. But I can't always read my own handwriting, and so there wasn't going to be a way to do that, and I haven't sung the tune or the song all the way through since I wrote it, so I didn't really remember it. So then I had to open up my laptop, which of course my laptop was open before the conference talk was over, because I was doing that and doing everything else, and then I was like, I'm going to call my son and send an email to my friend at the same time, because somehow I'm magical and I could do that. So I don't know if I'm grateful or disappointed that my son didn't answer the phone when I called him, because then I just went to spending half an hour of typing up my song and trying to interpret my own handwriting, some of which I think I did okay, some of which not so much, and some of the words I changed, and some of them I typed up wrong, which I didn't realize until I was in my writing group, but I was trying to sing it to them, which I actually got brave enough to do, and I did not want to do. I told God, I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm like, I'll read the words, but I am not singing the words. And then I kept thinking it would be better if I sang the words. And then, of course, I know the tune and the melody is supposed to change, or it did when I was singing it, when I was doing it. But then when I was singing it to my group, I kind of got stuck with just like one tune. And I was like, I'm not changing it. I just made everything fit into that. And someone else in the group was like, the only thing I would suggest is like, you can break it up a little bit, the music and the tune, like just add a little bit more. And I was like, yep, I could. And yep, I think I did when I did it originally. And of course, I haven't actually written the music. It's just, I just sung the tune that was initially in my head, but just like the beginning and the ending part, because it does change a little bit in the middle. I just wasn't really good at going with the changes while I was there, because I was so nervous doing it. So I was like, and then I'm trying to read it at the same time because I don't have it memorized, and it's not just flowing like it does at home because there's nobody else there and I'd feel safer. But I chose to just put myself out there and do it, and I didn't want to do it. And then we didn't time ourselves like we normally do in my writing group. So everybody was, we took half an hour just talking in the beginning, which happens every single meeting, which is kind of annoying to me, but it does, before we ever actually start sharing. And then everybody's supposed to get 10 minutes. And there were 5 people there tonight, and 4 of us had something to share. So it should have been like 40 minutes, and it was 7:30. So 40 minutes, 8:10, and even if we went over a little bit, maybe 8:30, and I would be home early and life would be fantastic. No, everybody took half an hour. So by the time the other 3 people were done, it's 9 o'clock. And it's finally my turn because I was too scared to go before. So 9 o'clock, it's my turn to go, and one person decides they have to leave because they don't have time to stay because it's 9 o'clock, and I'm like, I don't have time to stay. I have to get up. I need to go. And here I am opening my laptop, and they're like, everybody else is like, we want to hear your song. And even the person on the left's like, okay, I want to hear about your song. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I was like, not going to hear about this. I promise we're not going to hear about this. That's not true, because I will probably get brave enough at some point and send it to my sister and ask her to write the music for it like she did my other one, because she did a fantastic job with the other one. I'm sure she'll do a fantastic job with this one. So, but one person in my writing group after I did it, which I did not want to do. I was nervous as all get out about doing it. because I don't know, I'm just nervous about singing in front of other people. Not about singing in general. I think I actually like singing, and I'm always singing and making up random tunes and random songs. I just don't always write them down, and I just don't always do something with them. So I had the one that I did something with, and my friend finally just sent it to me. So now I have to actually publish it, which I haven't done yet, but I'm planning on doing it, and it will be out and available by the end of this month. That's my goal anyway. So hopefully that will happen. Not that it's going to be a big hit, and not that a bunch of people are ever going to listen to it or I'll ever make any money off of it, but I'm going to put it out there no matter what. And so this one, I don't know, maybe it'll take a while because it took my sister all summer, and then have to get somebody to record it again or figure out how to record it myself if I get brave enough. I'm not promising to be brave enough to do that again. That was, that was seriously scary as all get out. I'm like, nope, not doing this in front of people. But one of my writing friends in my writing group, she could tell right away. She was like, because someone else was asking me, so what's the song about? What's the purpose of the song? What's the point of the song? And I was like, there has to be a point to the song. It's just a song. I'm like, I don't know. And then someone else in my writing group was like, it was about you, isn't it? And I was like, yep, it was about me. And then I was honest. I'm like, I was just doing dishes, and I was just having these thoughts and feelings, and I just started singing, and then I wrote it down. And then that person was like, well, the important thing is you wrote it down. And I was like, yep, I wrote it down. But she couldn't seem to understand how I could be afraid to sing, or how I could be, why it made me nervous. And I was just like, I have lots of insecurities. I just honestly do. And I probably got teased only a handful of times, maybe once or twice, like I can even remember, but it was enough that it just kind of stuck in my brain that I wasn't good enough at doing it. And everyone else in my family, well, not everyone else, but people in my family are very musically inclined. My mom comes from a very musical family. My uncle sang in like concerts and musical things, and he was in the Tabernacle Choir. I mean, seriously amazing musical talent in this family. My great aunt, my grandma's sister, she wrote arrangements for songs, and she played beautiful music on the piano. My sister plays multiple instruments, and she's now a music teacher, and she's done multiple arrangements, and she wrote the song, the music for my other song. So, I mean, seriously, music talent runs in my family. And so it just feels like a lot to live up to, a lot to do. And it's not something that I expressed a lot of interest in. And it's not something that I felt like I was encouraged to do. I think it was something I was expected to do. And then because my biological dad didn't have a very good singing voice, and his side of the family wasn't as musically inclined, so I kind of got a mix in there. So I don't have the best singing voice, in my opinion. And although people in my writing group think that I have, or at least one person in my writing group was like, oh, she has such a beautiful singing voice. And I was like, yeah, except I get really nervous, and I get too nervous to like sing a cappella. Like I remember being in college and playing, I was playing the cornet, and I was in the trumpet section. And one time I was actually paying attention, and I was following along with the music. And then I started to play what I was supposed to play because I was paying attention to the music and not what everybody else was playing. And then the music instructor like completely stopped the band, and I was like, okay, like what happened? And then he comes over to me, and I was like, oh crap. And he's like, there's this section in here, and he's like, can you play this? And I was like, everybody's looking at me, and I froze. I couldn't get anything out of my cornet. Like nothing was coming out. I was like, nope. And for anybody that doesn't know what a cornet is, it's a smaller version of a trumpet, kind of like a piccolo to a flute. But it's meant to play the higher notes that trumpets can't usually reach. And it's usually got more twists and turns to it, or it's shorter than a regular trumpet. So the bell of it doesn't go out as far. But most of the time I just tell people it was a trumpet because it's very similar to that. And I was in the trumpet section. So, but because I was the cornet section, it was different, like music. I had different music to them. And honestly, I never played that part of the song. And even when we had the concert, it just never came out that way because there was just me and one other person that had that part. And I was like, even though it wasn't really a solo because all the other instruments were playing, the other trumpets were not. And it meant mine was the only one that was going up, and the person next to me, who never learned the part either, like, we were the only two who were supposed to go up for, like, I don't know, 4 measures, and then everybody else's went up. So I was like, yeah, I never did it. Never did it, because it freaked me out. So, singing out loud, sharing something out loud like that was, it was scary for me. And of course, I'm like, it's 9 o'clock, and I had every excuse to just be like, I can't do this. I'm not doing this. But I did it, and I listened, and honestly, I got comments back, like, one person was like, okay, I could feel the emotion and like the back and forth and the changing and how it, it takes time and process and everything else like that. And the one person said that was totally you. And then the other person that was like, what was the point of the song? And I was like, is there a purpose behind it? I was like, well, it's just because that's how I was feeling. That's what I was doing. And she's like, well, you wrote it down. That's really good. So I was like, I don't know what that means. And I don't think she was saying anything bad or meant anything bad about the song. Like, she was, trying to encourage me that I wrote something down and that I did it, because that's an amazing accomplishment. But I don't feel like she could relate to the song, like, for her personally. And that's okay, because not everybody does. But my one friend that was there, that just knew that was me in the song, she was like, lots of people could relate to that. And this is like totally telling a story. And this is amazing. And like, she was, she understood. And even if I never published that, at least I know somebody else understood. And she was saying it would touch a lot of other people that understand that. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful I had the courage to put it out there. And then, of course, one person was like, okay, I kind of just kept with the same tune. She's like, you could break it up a little bit, make a little bit more other stuff. I was like, I don't know that much about writing music. And I was like, yeah, I know. I think I kind of did it at home, but I got too nervous to do it there. So I just kind of stuck with the one melody. It didn't change at all. It was kind of very monotone singing would be the best word for it, because I just got nervous to do all the parts that go with it that I originally thought to go with it. But I'm okay with that, because I at least did it. I was like, I did it. I put myself out there and I did it. So yay, that was huge. And then of course I stayed, and we ended up leaving like at 9:20. We were supposed to leave at 9 o'clock. So I didn't quite take half an hour for that, but oh my goodness. And then of course, like the last 5 minutes, I think we were trying to just decide who was doing what for the next meeting, which, should have been done at the beginning of the meeting instead of the end of the meeting, but that's okay. It's all good. It's all done. And I'm home, and I'm making this really long, dramatic video, because when I put myself out there and I do things like that, I get anxious, and I get and when I get anxious, I think I get loud, I get hyper, and I prattle on like crazy, because now I have all of this nervous energy inside of me. I'm like, what am I going to do with this? Which is part of the reason why I did my dishes before I went, because I was hoping to get all of my anxiety out before. But for some reason, sometimes after I do something that's hard and scary for me, it's like, okay, I did it. And then afterwards, I'm like, I'm shaking, like my body's vibrating or reverberating from everything that I just did. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that. I think it's like that shock, like you go into shock after a car accident or something, and it's like, okay, it's happened and it's over, but your body's still reacting to it. And mine does that, like my anxiety and everything, after I do something that's putting myself out there and it's hard and scary for me, it does that. So you're getting the aftermath of my anxiety in my video. So I apologize for that. And I thank you for anybody that's willing to watch this, and for anybody that understands me and my crazy, because there it is, all of me and my crazy. Also, today I remembered, and I've known like all week, that I told my friend that I was going to return something to her after work on Friday. And then I remembered that I have my MRI on Friday that I don't want to do and I don't want to think about. So I've kind of put off telling her that I wasn't going to be able, I was trying to figure out if I could actually, depending on what time I get off of work on Friday, I might have time to take her container back to her, drop it off, and then go get my MRI. But I don't know exactly what her address is, so I have to find out or look it up. And I don't know, and then I have to look up the address to the MRI place. So then I have to make sure that I have time to get from work to her place to the MRI place. And I was like, getting the MRI is stressful enough. I don't need to stress myself out about this. And I didn't want to have to text her, and I didn't want to have to change it. But I did. Today, I was like, again, my brain thinks I can do everything. So I'm like, okay, fine. I will send her a text message. And I sent her a text message and asked if I could do it tomorrow instead. And she's perfectly okay with that. So I will return her container tomorrow that I have had for like probably a year or more, which is insane. So I think she made me food and brought it over when I was in my car accident last year. And I just haven't returned her container. And she's since moved. And so now I have to go to her new place because I still haven't returned her container. I've washed it out. I've told her I've had it and I just keep forgetting to give it back. So now I've officially made an arrangement to return something, which is fantastic, but not something that I like to do. So I'm like, that was definitely one of the things I did not want to do today, but I did. So yay. And then of course my editing friend sends me a text message today saying that she changed the meeting with the editors from this Friday to next Friday. Like she's doing me this big, huge favor so I don't have to rush home for my MRI. And I was like, okay, so you just kind of freed up one Friday and now occupied another one of my Fridays. And now I have a whole nother week to wait and anticipate and figure out what I'm doing. And I don't like the waiting and the anticipating. I would much rather just get it done and over with on Friday. So I'm hoping the MRI thing doesn't take that long. I mean, it didn't take that long the last time I did it. And if I get there early and there's no issues with the order, they'll just go in and do it. And it'll take half an hour, maybe an hour. And I should still be home on or before 3:00. But it's probably better this way. And that's okay. So now I've eliminated apparently the stuff like don't have to return a container. And now I don't have to rush home. So I can just only have to deal with an MRI, work and an MRI on Friday that I don't want to do. So when I make my video Friday, it's going to be, I don't want to do an MRI and I did the stupid MRI. I'm already telling you that right now because I am claustrophobic and I hate doing those things. I've already made videos about it. So the last one I had to do. So now I have to do another one I don't want to do. So anyway, those are the things I did not want to do today. And I just do not know how to turn my brain off that it's now decided that I have permission to just do everything. And that every fancy little thought that pops into my head is now something that I need to do. And of course, my brain doesn't understand one thought at a time or one thing at a time. It thinks that I can do 5 things at a time. And I think because I talked to my friend on the phone yesterday, and then I ended up cleaning the oven and doing the dishes and making dinner or making muffins, that I'm like, hey, look how much stuff I can do at the same time. I'm Superwoman. I'm Wonder Woman. That's what I usually tell myself. I'm Wonder Woman. I always think other people think I'm Wonder Woman, and now apparently my brain thinks that I'm Wonder Woman and I can do everything. And I'm also at the same time freaking out because I'm like, I'm not actually Wonder Woman and I can't do everything. And even if I can get it all done, I don't know that I can get it all done in the same day. And I don't know if I can get it all done in the amount of time that I've allotted for myself, which I, was 10 minutes late to my writing group tonight because I could not get my dishes done and do my hair and grab all of my stuff in the time that I allotted for myself to do. And because I did not count on things running over at my writing group, and I did not insist on timers and other things to kind of follow the talking, because we like to talk and we like to talk over each other and we like to give each other advice and we like to listen to each other's stories, and we get sidetracked very easily, which is fun. It makes it for a nice get together and a nice evening, especially when we only have a handful of people there. Because I mean, we've had like 10 or 15 people at our group. I don't think we've had 15, but we've had over 10 people before. And tonight we had 5. So we're missing like half our group tonight because they were busy or off somewhere else, which made singing a lot easier and safer because there were less people. But again, it got more stressful because it was late. It just got late. And I did not take any of that into account when I decided I was going to be in bed at 10 o'clock. And at this point, it's probably 10 o'clock and I'm still doing my video and I still need to write in my journal and brush my teeth. So maybe I can be in bed at 10:30 or 10:20, which would be how late my meeting ran over, was 20 minutes. Or maybe it will be 11 o'clock because I am super wired and anxious from having sung my song. Plus, I noticed some errors when I was singing in my writing and I want to open it up again and fix it while it's fresh in my brain instead of leaving it alone, which I probably should do so that I can get some sleep. So anyway, I have to figure out how to calm down me and my anxiety, which I don't like and I wish would not be there. But sometimes it helps me to do things, and sometimes it just, I have this random excess energy, which just keeps me from doing things like sleeping when I need to be sleeping. So hopefully journaling will help get a lot of this out. And hopefully this video helped to get a lot of this out. So thank you for watching my video. If you like these videos, you can hit like, subscribe, share with someone else if you think they'll like it too. And I hope you have a great day full of gratitude, and maybe get the courage to do a couple of things you don't want to do that you know are good for you.